WILLY'S.
Oh my god. I fucking hate that movie. Do you like it?
Yes. It's a cinematic masterpiece.
Oh my god. Well, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. 2 hours at Freddy's was more than enough for me. I can't even begin to imagine 5 nights.
Karl's line. Sitting across from me is Matthew Scott.
And sitting beside me is Karl Loney of The Karl Loney Show. Before we spring into the film, joining us today is an expert in Five Nights at Freddy's lore, Trinity Baker.
I literally know everything.
As the program's name would suggest, Freddy's silver screen debut was followed by what some consider to be a cult classic, WILLY'S Wonderland.
Spend the night cleaning WILLY'S Wonderland, and I will pay to have your car fixed. Deal?
The greatest movie ever produced.
The worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, this movie was surprisingly good. Well, I guess roughly like a 5 out of 10.
5?
I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, to be specific. We'll get to WILLY'S Wonderland.
Oh, yeah.
As a movie?
Yeah, as a movie, not like just as a film itself. Like there's no other things connected to it. You're just looking at it directly as a movie. The 2 hours that you sat there and watched these people do their thing.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. I mean, you don't have to rate it, but
I wouldn't rate it like a 5 or a 6. I feel like if you weren't going off of like any of the games, like you're a new person and you don't know anything about it, you're just watching it for the first time, I would say it was like more like an 8. I feel like. Yeah. Because it's supposed to be for like, well, they say it's for kids, but
it definitely was targeted.
Yeah.
As a
wide audience.
The rating was accurate, which one of my, I guess, complaints, which I guess I wouldn't really call it a complaint. I thought there was going to be more horror elements.
Yeah.
It was a lot more like family friendly in a way.
Like, I thought not the bite of 87, or when the spring suit was like locking in on him.
That did get pretty graphic.
I thought it was gonna be more. I was expecting more. I was like, I'm ready to see blood.
I didn't think they were gonna put that in at all.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of on the same boat as him. I get they didn't add blood because that would have made it an R right away. But the especially at the end, I mean, I guess we're just gonna go right into spoilers. When the Springtrap happened right at the end, the way it was suggested to the audience made it more scary, I feel like. Because you didn't see exactly like the metal fucking things go right into his ribs and stuff, but you could definitely feel it through his acting. Like seeing it in his face, like his visceral reactions are
Well, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Who is he again?
Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
You're right.
He's Shaggy.
Shaggy. He was in like the Scream thing,
Scream.
wasn't he? He was literally
Yeah, you probably
the killer.
Oh yeah. The cast, I was surprised that the casting was actually pretty good. The main character, I know his name's Mike in the show, but
Yeah.
In real life, I haven't seen him in a lot of things other than like Zathura when he was like 12 or whatever.
The Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, he's in that too. I don't know what did you just say?
Bridge to Terabithia?
I have no idea.
Isn't that the one where she dies?
Yeah.
Interesting. The kid was surprisingly good. Abby, did you think her acting sucked?
Ass. Oh my god, she pissed me off through half the movie because she was always just angry. I was like, girl, give this man a break.
Okay, but what specifics part? What do you mean?
Like when she would just like not talk to him when he would like talk to her and she would just sit there and draw her little things. Like, girl, he's trying to put in effort.
Yeah, it wasn't like out of character or anything because she is a child. I mean,
Yeah.
she's like 10 or something. Like kids aren't like logical, you know, and like obviously there's a reason for why they do things, and she is like, I mean, even in the show they called her like I think they called her a special child. What did they call her?
No, they called her special.
Yeah, something like there was like a line with the aunt.
And this degenerate is who they entrust with the well-being of a mentally ill child.
Jane, like I've said before, Abby is not mentally ill.
Oh, right.
And they do make a whole thing about early in the movie they established like the idea that children begin communication through drawing pictures, and that becomes a bigger thing in the movie as the movie goes on. But I think that was a way to establish specifically for one of the characters that trait. I thought that was one of the interesting parts about the movie, that they actually like had substance, unlike Willy's Wonderland. You know, like things to interest you in a movie, to like keep you
Willy's
engaged.
Wonderland was interesting.
Where did the characters go in that movie? Who were the characters other than Nick Cage?
Nick Cage is the only important character.
Yeah,
There were other
literally.
characters.
Yeah, but like
There was the police officer lady.
I don't remember that.
There was the police officer guy.
Oh.
there were the kids that broke in.
Yeah, there's the stereotypical teenage group.
Did they all die? Did all these characters die?
Not all
Besides
of them.
that girl, because then
And
she
Nick
left
Cage.
with him. Yeah, Nick Cage, but
So the only thing that happened in that movie is
People died, and
Nick
it was
Cage
a great
walked
was
into
good.
the building, and then Nick Cage walked out of the building with some lady, and then left.
and it was a Ford commercial, so
Chevy.
Chevy, whatever, same difference.
And that's all you can say about the movie. No,
Enough said.
Yeah.
That movie is great.
There's nowhere, the characters go nowhere. There's nothing to latch onto or to keep you interested in the whole movie. Like, that's,
But in FNAF, it did. It was the same thing. I feel like
no, but it had
he went
so
home,
much. Okay, yeah, if you're
went to the
being
restaurant,
rudimentary
went to
like
the
I
pond
was.
with the woman or the officer, Vanessa, and then went back to the building.
Okay, yeah, but there was actual things in the subtext.
Is it because he talked and Nicolas Cage
No,
didn't the entire
that is
movie?
one thing, because there are movies where characters and even main characters don't talk as much, and that could be a interesting part about the movie and give like an interesting detail to the character, giving the character instead of being Nick Cage showing up on set drunk and playing pinball half the time.
Yeah.
Now, are you accusing him of being drunk, or do you
What
have
was he drinking?
facts?
What was he drinking?
Energy drink. So it sounds like a win for Nick Cage and a win
Yeah.
for the audience.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
We just get to see
I
Nick
think-
Cage doing shit.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's not what movies are. People doing stuff is not what movies are.
Well, a movie
I mean,
is
if you're
basically
thinking about it
from
literally-
A to B of just people doing stuff
Not necessarily.
to get to where they're
What if
going.
you're watching a Quentin Tarantino movie?
Well, that's completely different.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
That's
yeah. If it's a
90%
competent
feet shot.
movie, it's a different thing. If it actually has a story
Yeah.
and actually has something engaging in it, it's
They're
a different thing.
you're comparing apples and oranges.
No.
FNAF lore goes way deeper than Willy's Wonderland
No.
could ever dream of. Because it's just a bunch of random shit thrown into a fan and they call it a day.
No.
And then Willy's Wonderland is just, let's have Nick Cage destroy things in a restaurant. Simple as if.
Simple as if.
Yeah. They were both enjoyable.
Okay, but one clearly had more effort put into it. Yes.
Well,
And
yeah.
one didn't look like fucking diarrhea on the screen. The color correction in Willy's Wonderland is fucking disgusting browns and reds. It looks like everything was
I can agree with that.
like I get like to a point using color to tell your story, but if you don't care and you just want to put a shitty fucking grime, like just grease over your film, like I mean, the FNAF movie, like the cinematography wasn't like fucking outstanding, but it was serviceable. Like it wasn't just shaky cam the whole fucking time.
That's true. I did get watching that movie, and like when he would like fight the animatronics, and like it would just be like this the entire time. Like I could not watch it. I was just like, where do I look?
Yeah, it's
It
pretending.
adds to it.
Yeah, because they're hiding their shitty fucking movie that they made. They're like, hey, check this out.
It worked.
No,
What can I say?
but FNAF, when I rewatched it, specifically when he was in the dream sequences, it was either a wide-angle lens or a really shallow depth of field or both to make it look really like distorted behind them and like the world was all messed up. In comparison, when they did the reverse shot, he was all kind of normal and stuff, at least at the beginning. And I think later on when they try to, like, they're telling him that they're gonna take his sister and stuff, and they like start attacking him in his brain, or in his dream, he started matching more with the warped kind of look of the cinematography of having the wide angle lens and stuff like that.
So anyway, homeboy Mike starts off as a security guy.
No, you fucking already fucked it up. So they begin the movie with the previous night guard to establish the movie, because that's how movies work. I don't know if I don't think Willy's Wonderland did it. I think they just...
Yeah, they did. In Willy's, they set it up as the main teenage chick insert photo.
Okay.
Parents, when they were brought there and were murdered. That's how that movie starts out.
I completely forgot that it had a semblance to a plot. Her parents died there?
Yeah.
Whoa, what a twist. It wasn't the kids. That makes it completely different than Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, so it begins with something that they'll obviously come back to later, with what is that thing? Where it's like the Freddy face coming down, and it's about to saw, like all those gears were about to
that
grind
was
his
when
face.
that's the back of the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it like lowers down onto his head.
So is that guy that at the beginning of the movie, is that guy supposed to be the Golden Freddy? Or is that... Because he had a Freddy mask coming on him. Was he just...
I think they were just killing him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand so if William Afton can put these certain kids into the suits and then their spirits come back, what happens to all the other people that get killed in like the same suits?
Well, I think the kids are from like way back to when all that stuff happened. So like those ones are like set or whatever, and I think they don't put the other ones in the suits is the thing, because like when they cut back to the people that went into the to tear up the place, they just have them laying there.
Yeah.
And another thing about that, okay, if the kids are in the suits, you don't smell it.
Yeah, what the hell?
And then also the dead people just lying, rotting. He didn't smell that the whole time.
It's a big building, man. I mean, like...
I guess.
It's just down the hall. I couldn't smell a thing.
It would ferment the entire building.
Dead kids
for 5
don't
days.
stink.
Or 5 nights, excuse me.
About the whole 5 nights thing, that was a lot longer than 5 nights, wasn't it?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Yeah.
It felt a lot. It felt like
It was literally 5 nights, because I remember when we first watched it, I think I said to you, oh, that was 5th night. I'm pretty sure I said something like that.
Yeah, and then you said the 5th night's always the hardest. I remember.
That totally happened.
Yeah.
So homeboy Mike, right? He's working at the mall, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
"Hey, that kid's just standing there doing nothing."
Well, okay, wait. There's a scene with his friend where they kind of establish his dream thing that he is dealing with the whole movie, where he gives his friend this book that he's been reading, and he's like,
This stuff for real.
And then the kid is being drug away by this guy, and it doesn't establish that this guy's the kid's father. So Mike just sees this kid being taken, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go save this kid." And he's running, and he sees the guy with the kid, and he's talking to him. And Mike tackles him into the fountain. And then bam!
Beats the shit out of him.
Just hammers this guy, right? Some real Detroit-looking shit.
which, first time watch, what the fuck is
going
this guy
on?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, which is definitely a way to start the movie, to make things exciting, but it also starts off the character as should we like this guy?
Yeah.
But obviously as the story goes on, there's a reasoning for why he did that, and
I thought it was stupid when I first saw it. I
Yeah,
was like,
I
what's
also
the point
thought-
of this being in the movie?
I was like, this
and then
guy's crazy.
later on I was like, oh,
Oh, his brother was kidnapped.
my bad.
I could do that too.
Which part?
Get kidnapped.
No. Beat someone up in a fountain.
That you're saying you could kidnap.
No.
So many kids do you have locked in your pizzeria?
They're in the suits.
Not enough.
Never look in the suits. That's what he says in the movie. That was one of the grossest things. I guess we haven't got to Vanessa yet, but I swear she's bipolar or something. 'Cause
She's gotta be.
that,
One day she's
crazy.
flirting with Mike and like being his friend, and then the next she's like, don't go to the pizzeria, keep her away from there, blah, 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 yelling at him. He's like,
And not just yelling at him, she said she would shoot him.
yeah, she would shoot
After
him.
they were just playing.
You can do whatever you want with your own life, but if you ever bring Abby back here again, I will shoot you.
You did it! Are you okay?
I like it in here.
That's all in the same scene. She goes from getting kind of angry that Mike brought his little sister to then playing with the scary robot animatronics
And making
a fort and being like, oh, what
I
did
feel
she
like
say?
that scene was required to make that
pissed
plot
me
work.
off.
Oh my God.
The entire time watching it, my face was just like,
Like them playing and having fun.
it's like, this is so stupid.
But they are kids' souls trying to play with another kid. It makes
give a
sense.
crap.
Yeah, from a lore standpoint.
That's
from a lore standpoint, we're thinking of specific, because I only really have any recollection of the first one. That's the only thing I can really remember.
like the first game's
Yeah.
lore? Okay.
Well, I mean, even that. I remember you press the cameras. In the first game, are they supposed to be those kids' souls?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then it makes sense. Like the movie, I mean, if you want to think about it this way, the game could have been the first guy that you're seeing in the opening of the movie, and then the movie is what happens right after. Which I don't think is what they're doing. I think they're just doing like a whole different timeline thing where the second movie is going to be something else. Either continuing or doing like the prequel thing that I think they
Creative
would do.
differences.
I think they did that because, like, put a different security guard in the beginning of the movie that gets killed. I think they did it just to, like, because William Afton still, like, kills people, you know? He wants somebody to take this night guard shift so the animatronics can kill him.
It's just like a...
So I think it's just, like, yeah. I think it's just not Michael. I think it's William Afton still, like, just getting people to take that position. And then when he finally got Mike Schmidt, because in the movie he like goes Mike and he doesn't say his last name, so obviously it's him. Like, he's like, oh shit, you know, like he realizes that this guy like actually has to die because he
I can kill two brothers.
Yeah.
There are some little subtle hints towards before they reveal that Vanessa is his daughter and all that. When Mike is like confessing about the dream stuff because she found the pills, he says like, you must think I'm insane or something, and she goes, no, I've seen insane. And it's like, okay.
Oh.
We get it. We've met your dad.
She's
I didn't
looked
know
in a mirror.
I didn't know Vanessa was William Afton.
You didn't catch that at the end?
No.
His name is William Afton. He's my father.
And then she holds up the picture of her and her dad, and she has Mike's brother's plane.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I remember her having his plane, but I didn't remember that picture. That, like, when I saw the picture in the movie, I was like, I don't get it. You know, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either. That's really funny, actually. Well, that makes a lot more sense.
That also
to
doesn't
me.
make any sense.
Why?
Because from the game lore standpoint, William Afton's daughter isn't Vanessa. It's Elizabeth Afton, obviously. Why did I think about that? It's Elizabeth Afton, and Elizabeth Afton gets chomped by Baby.
Was Baby the one
In
that they were
sister
trying to put
location.
Abby in? Or is that,
No,
that's
that
someone else?
animatronic is from the books, actually. The dog animatronic,
This is real lore.
yeah, the dog animatronic that we saw, and the like little like rosy cheeked one, they're both from different books. So it goes deeper into that. But I don't know why they'd put them in the movie if the books didn't come
It's
out
called
later.
an Easter egg.
Well, whatever.
Is there another character named Vanessa in the lore?
Yes.
That would be from
That
Five
would
Nights
be-
at Freddy's security breach.
Yeah, the like very last game that they just made, where she's, but she's Vanny.
Okay, I've seen you play it, but who?
The security guard. at the beginning of the game.
I don't remember that.
Because in Security Breach, you're friends with, like, the only animatronic that's good is Freddy, and he's trying to help you. And she's the blonde security guard that walks around the, like, place and, like, will catch you. And if she catches you, then, like, it's like a jump scare, pretty much. You just die. You have to, like, restart.
So, I mean, I'm thinking that they just used, because to become a cop or whatever, or if she even was a real cop, I mean, did she even show a badge or anything? Probably not. She was like, oh, look at my police uniform.
I got this from Spirit Halloween.
Oh, she did, yeah, she did have a cop car. But she could have changed her name, and they could have used Vanessa to, like, throw the audience off. Like, the people that were like, oh, Vanessa from this game? And they're like, no, fuck you. So that could be the same character, and we could potentially be, like, foreshadowing what happens to that character later, because she is in the hospital at the end of the movie, but I mean, she's obviously alive still. Another thing surprising about the movie was there was, like, no jump scares. And, like, that's all.
Like, no good ones, really.
Any at all that I can remember.
There was, like...
The Balloon Boy one.
Yeah, but that's a joke one.
Which...
Like, woo.
That's another thing.
I was fine with
Why
it.
is he in that movie? Why is Balloon Boy in it?
Because he's a little toy, and then...
He shouldn't be, though, if they're basing it off of the first building.
Here we go.
If they're basing this movie off of the first building with the first animatronics, then Balloon Boy shouldn't even exist yet.
See, the whole point of the movie is to combine all of the Five Nights at Freddy's lore that's already been established and place it into one thing where a majority of the audience can understand it.
That is kind of what I'm...
Boo!
They're making a proper
That's
timeline.
terrible.
Well, they do that with everything. They did that with Star Trek, and it sucks.
It's not really a retelling of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's more of like an offshoot kind of thing. It's like, here's the main story that we've all known and loved. Here's the movie. It's kind of two separate forms of media.
If they were gonna do that, they should have, like, made it established that, like, the movie has its own lore then. And then it's not going off, because, like, you know how they say that the books are all lore, but they're on different
timelines.
Yeah, timelines pretty much. So, like, they're part of the same thing, just at different times. Why didn't they just do that for the movie then?
Are they at different times, or is it different timelines? Because this is two different things. Different times is one line.
I'm trying to think of what Matt Pack said. Because I've literally watched this video about it like 50 times.
That's also another thing. This is a separate thing. But is Balloon Boy, he's from the second game, right?
Yeah.
Which is a prequel, so it takes place before.
Yes.
So it would make sense why he'd be there, because it's a relic of a bygone era.
But she's looking at it as, this is the first movie, so it should reflect the first game.
Guys. No, I'm looking at it as a point of, like, yes, the second game did, like, going by the timeline, the second game did happen before the first one. But if they're gonna base the movie off of the animatronics that are in the first game, then it should stick to that. It shouldn't be pulling characters like Balloon Boy out of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that happened before. Because then why? Because if they were to pull in, like, Balloon Boy, why couldn't they pull in, like, the puppet or something?
Because they didn't want to.
Well, that's stupid.
It was a creative
The puppet
choice
is definitely
to
scarier.
foreshadow what is to come.
Yeah, it could be establishing that.
Because at the end of the movie, you do hear the puppet's music play.
You do, yeah.
Okay. I don't recall that because I
In, like, the credits.
Yeah.
Oh. I disagree with what you said, though. I think it makes sense. Like what I said earlier, they're making, like, a prime timeline. Like, you didn't think of the prequel stuff after the fact. You know, it happened. So here's existence of it. So having things like the Balloon Boy establishes that for the audience, or at least, like, an idea of, like, what's this thing? And then people that do know that it's from something before, they're like, oh, are they going to show the old store? Because that was a separate store, right?
Yeah. It's a different pizzeria.
Because that's what I think they're gonna do with the sequel. Because I don't know if I heard it. We were talking about it, or I heard it online. But I feel like they're gonna do like that, where they go back in time and do the bite of 87 because everybody fucking knows that. And the balloon boy is just a way of like establishing that, I think. And the other things they did, I feel like there was probably like one or two more things from the sequel or the second game.
I personally hope that like in this like second, because like there's gonna be 3 movies, right? I hope that in like this like either the second or third movie, it shows like the mini games from, I think it's Sister Location what game is that? It's Five Nights at Freddy's 4, where you're the little boy and you're in the bedroom, you know? And there's like little mini like games in there, like little like things that you can look at, and it actually shows like the bite of, I think that was the bite of 83 though, or like that one, and then like it shows just like that little boy's life. That's William Afton's kid. So like I hope they do something like that.
Wait, that's another one of his kids?
Yes, he has a son and a daughter, because like people say that William Afton is Springtrap obviously, and then his wife is Ballora from Sister Location, his daughter is Baby, and then his son is Golden Freddy, because that's who he got bit by.
And Golden Freddy was in the movie.
Yeah.
For like that one scene.
That like, yeah,
Wait, is the blonde kid Golden Freddy,
Yes.
or is he? Oh, I thought he was regular Freddy.
No, he is Golden Freddy.
That makes so much sense that the blonde kid was Golden Freddy. Because I was like, why is a blonde kid why is a blonde kid regular Freddy? Wouldn't they make him brown hair so they like, or no? And another one had a hat, and that's who. Because like all the kids in the background had something to like identify them. One had like bunny ears, and one had a hat, and one had the hook.
Yep.
And whatever the last one is, I can't think
I
of.
think she just wore yellow.
Yeah,
honestly.
it might have been, or it might have been
Girl character.
But that makes so much sense now. So the blonde. Oh, and Vanessa's blonde too. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad we figured that out.
You understand FNAF. Good job.
He just solved all the lore.
Yeah, turn off the cameras. I might as well change my name to Matt Pat.
Oh my god.
So just change your last name to Patrick.
Okay, yeah, but that makes so much sense. Fucking having Golden Freddy as that kid. And why he's like the leader. I was like, oh, it's Freddy, so obviously he's the main guy, but he's Golden Freddy. So he hires a security guard specifically to be there at night, even though it's not open during the day. So you need a security guard there during the day too.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like in the game, isn't it supposed to be that the place is open, right?
Yeah, the place is open during the day.
I feel like it's more he knows people aren't gonna break into it in the middle of broad daylight. Because
they did. They straight up did that.
He got away with it for 20 years though. I mean, the one time.
How many people did he really kill though? Like how close?
That is also another thing, because do you think that like let's say the second movie has like the toy animatronics, do you think those are the same spirits that were in the first ones just going over into these ones, or do you think it's like brand new kids?
No, I think if they do like the prequel thing, they're gonna use the same kids and tell that story essentially, and then have that kid's head go.
Good.
So the Ons is the bad guy character.
The bad guy.
Yeah. So she's like she's kind of like the false antagonist until she just kind of is
not in the story anymore.
How does that end? Because
she literally dies in the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Does she?
Yeah.
You
Golden Freddy kills her because she's supposed to be watching.
when Golden Freddy comes to get the chick,
which was one of the more like kind of like chilling scenes, because like
she was laying there.
Yeah, she was.
You can only see her legs.
Scene, not gonna lie.
And then Golden Freddy is just like, she fell asleep. And
let's go.
And Abby doesn't even think twice. She just looks and like, how are we gonna get there?
Word.
I mean, she didn't like that lady, and
I thought her character was useless. No offense.
She brought the greatest part of that movie.
Yeah, Matt Pat.
Oh my god, we could have got him like 100 different ways.
Yeah, so I think originally we talked about how the characters that go in and trash the place, were just kind of useless characters.
They were, but they were the people.
They at least the one that was like the nanny or whatever, like that served a purpose.
She was the only one.
Yeah, but I mean, and then having her brother and then like the other characters was just to make it so you could watch the fucking animatronics murder people. But that was the first time you actually saw the animatronics like move and like go murder people.
Yeah.
So it was set up to establish not only that the animatronics are murdering psychopaths, but also that he has to bring his sister to work the next day.
Yeah.
Which is like, at first I was like, that is the stupidest decision, but then it's like, if I was the character, I wouldn't be thinking I'm in a movie and I'm gonna totally die because this is a horror movie. I'd be thinking, I have to go to work.
And my sister's here.
I don't understand why he couldn't have just like he gets off early. He gets off at 6 a.m. So why couldn't he have just like gone home, took her to school or whatever, gotten her ready for school, and like she would have been fine at home?
No, you can't just leave
You
her at
can't
home.
legally leave a child by themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so we did talk about a little bit about the kids acting. I think the main kid that played Abby was the one kid that worked, and the kid that played Golden Freddy was awful.
You thought he was bad?
Yeah.
I was about to say the exact opposite of you.
He's overacting like so much, so it doesn't seem real at all. The way that the Abby character is played is like a real child, like how a real child would act. And then there's parts where it's like, of course the robots can move because it's ghosts. It's like, yeah, that was a dumb line, but I mean, I wouldn't put that onto the kid. That was just a dumb line.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought the little boy acting. I mean, he didn't really have like a huge part. He was just like there in like the dream things, but like I thought he did a better job than her.
The fort scene.
Yes, it was stupid and uncalled for.
It was critical for the plot.
No, it was not.
I didn't like it, but it was critical to the plot.
How?
Because it was the establishing of that these are kids trapped inside the animatronics. They act like kids.
I feel like it would have been a better scene without Mike and Vanessa, and I feel like it would have made a lot more sense. And I feel like it could have added more to it, because if just Abby is seeing that these animatronics move and they made a fucking fort with her, and she goes back and she's like, they're like real, blah blah blah, and like, well, obviously Vanessa knows, but like he doesn't know. Like I feel like it would have been.
It also introduces the idea of Mike knowing that there are actual things that happen to be moving and like alive.
And it continues this story because he, from there on, he like tries to get Abby to ask the animatronics if they know anything, because like before in his dream he tried to talk to them and they wouldn't talk to him. Before they like were just doing like the fun little kid stuff where Abby was all like super hyped and was like, look at all my friends, and then Mike's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, oh, it's a joke. Good joke, guys.
Yeah.
Good joke. Like I liked all that, and then all the like goofy stuff. It I get why it's there, but I think it was just too long. And like
I was sitting there and I was like looking around at you guys and I was like, when's it over?
And then Bonnie with the thumbs up and just
right back down. Dumb. I was like, girl,
that was
come
so
on.
Peak.
No.
Decent movie. Nothing special.
I think now that I think I'll still stick with a 5 out of 10. That's 5.5. I don't know. Because it definitely was above average, but not far enough to really be anything of note.
I feel like if I were the director, I would have made it. Well, first of all, if they know that this game has like a scary background of children being killed and put in suits, I don't know why they would have the target audience be young children if they're making a movie about it. I feel like if their target audience would have been like teens, adults, and they actually followed the storyline of the games, it would have been a little more enjoyable. But because it's for kids, I understand why there's no like,
We're talking about the same franchise that made these, correct?
Yeah.
Shut up. These are different versions of the characters.
Teens and adults, ladies and gentlemen.
I think why it appeals to kids so much is that it's almost like a horror movie or a horror franchise for them. Like if you're watching Halloween or those kinds of movies, they're killing like older teens or adults and stuff because that's what the audience is. They literally see themselves on screen. The whole like having Abby as basically like the kid's main character and interacting with all the children, you can see the audience can see themselves on screen and identify with the characters.
Because you were like, oh, they're killing young adults in this movie, so it's targeted towards older people, but they're killing kids in this movie, so it's targeted towards kids.
I get why that sounds ass backwards.
I was like, are you sure?
I get why that sounds bad.
Want to watch a couple kids die?
But that's why the horror element works. Because it's not gruesomely seeing the kids be shoved into the...
Yeah, I mean, if you were showing that to a kid.
It's all implied, so it only goes as bad as the kid can imagine, which is not that bad. All things considered, Like, compared to real life, that's not the same.
Yeah, I can see that point of view. I'm sticking to mine.
Okay, on to Willy's Wonderland, I guess.
10 out of 10.
Great movie.
Would watch
would recommend.
to the end
Would
of
watch.
time.
Would.
If there was a 10-hour cut, you bet that fucker would be on repeat.
Yup. I fall asleep to Willy's.
Enough said. Roll credits.
If I put Willy's Wonderland on and a random part in the movie, do you even think you could even identify at what point in the movie you're even in?
Yes.
No, absolutely not.
100%
No. If I showed you one of the thousands of fucking him playing pinball, could you tell the difference?
Yes.
No, because they're the same fucking clip over and over again. Almost exactly, I swear.
No, because he gets
try this.
Because like in certain clips when he goes back to play like pinball, like sometimes he's like messed up with like blood all over him.
Like, I swear you guys are just fucking with me just to piss me off.
No,
You guys!
That movie is so bad. When I first watched it, I was like, this is awful. And you were like, no, this is fucking great. And then like a year later or something, I watched it again. I'm like, maybe I was being too harsh on it. No, I wasn't being harsh enough.
It was
even worse the
fantastic.
second time, which is astounding because the first time it was just so bad.
What if Nicolas Cage from that movie walked down the stairs right now and like wanted to fight you because you said that about
He
this
would
movie?
not, because he did not care about even being there. He probably didn't even remember he made that.
He probably doesn't. He's like, oh yeah, I still get money from this random movie that gets watched on Amazon every month. I don't know what it is.
If I rewatch this and I realize that all the plot was added in later, I'd give a hearty laugh, is what I'd do. Because I almost... Yeah, I be Freddy himself. Because the way... I mean, it may be just me trying to make sure it sounds really bad to everybody, but it just sounds like they were like, okay, we got all the Nick Cage scenes done, now we need, like, a plot to hang everything on.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
But we really went for the Nick Cage
What was the
scenes.
main character's name that wasn't Nick Cage?
Oh shit.
Oh,
wait.
yeah. Uh-huh.
The main character's name that wasn't...
The girl that you guys were just talking about.
I don't fucking care about her.
Yeah,
I'm here for Nick
cares
Cage.
about her.
Yes, the character that has to do with the entire plot of the movie. Who the fuck cares about her?
What is his name in the movie?
He doesn't have one. He's like the man with no name, like from fucking westerns. Clint Eastwood at least talked. Like, yeah, he was the guy that didn't say his name and didn't talk a lot. That was his whole character, but he did say things and do things that were actually like showed his character's motivation and like actually made sense.
So his car runs over a spike strip at the beginning of the movie, and he has to pay for the repairs on his car, and the way he was offered to pay for said repairs is to clean this building. So the entire time throughout the movie he's trying to clean this building, and he was told to take periodic breaks from his boss, so he does. So on his break time, yes, he does drink. He plays pinball. He's taking a break. But the end goal was to get his car back, which he achieves at the end of the movie, having cleaned the entire
Sounds like
building.
a well-nuanced character. Sounds like a real person.
It is a real person.
No.
He has real goals.
He does not.
Get
Do you
his
think
car
Mike
back.
Schmidt has real goals?
Yes. He, at the beginning of the movie, he doesn't have a good relationship with his sister, and he's trying. And by the end of it, they're able to connect. That's like the literal story.
That's like an American home every day in America.
In Japan.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's true to life? That's what you're saying.
I guess, but like,
Which is what people go to.
who
see
doesn't
movies
go and run over a whatever thing and
No, I've never
his
run
car.
over some spikes and then have to go make money at
I'm surprised.
pizzeria.
I'm surprised you've never run over some spikes.
Where the fuck
With
are
everything
spikes?
else you've hit?
You wanna watch it again?
Yeah. I'll go get it.
I think it's on streaming, so you have to that. But so should we come back after we watch it?
that would be funny. That would be really funny.
I
thought it was great.
I do have to say, and won't be very positive, but I do have to say that the action was better than I expected, and that is kind of the purpose of the movie. But everything else still sucked.
Wrong.
12 out of 10. Would recommend.
I would
recommend that to my like little siblings. They'd love it.
I would recommend that to my dying grandmother.
I wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody I know. Even if they thought that they wanted to watch it and they maybe would. I don't even think I'd suggest watching it. I think there's plenty of other movies that do a better job at what Willy's Wonderland was trying to do. 2 out of 10.
Well, minority vote loses.
Yeah.
So
It's not.
split the difference.
It's not at all what it's about.
We'll call it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
What did you rate it?
What would I rate it? Like a 7. 7.5.
He gave a 12.
7.5 out of 10 is what I would rate it.
7.5.
Acting wasn't the best. I hate the blonde bitch in that movie.
Yeah, just because.
And-
Most of the characters
Yeah.
are dumb and boring. And dumb and boring.
And that's why they die and we don't care.
Whoa,
That's the point.
What a great reason to have them written into your film.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've said quite enough about both of these movies. I don't think I'd ever watch either of these again, honestly.
I would watch FNAF again.
I'd probably watch FNAF again just because there's gonna be a sequel, so I'd probably watch it and
prepare for
that. But besides that, they're all right. I'd recommend FNAF. I would not recommend Willy's Wonderland. You have a recommendation?
I would recommend both.
I would too.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and thank you, Trinity, for joining us.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
We'll see you next time.
Why are they kissing? And why is Foxy watching?
He said.
He said it's not him. Did you guys ever watch those like things on YouTube where it said
No,
that Foxy and Chica were like dating or
I
whatever?
wasn't that kind of person.
I barely watched.
Gang.
I barely watched the Matt Pat videos.
Because Bonnie and Foxy would fight over Chica. I remember that. I said, OG fan.
Did that have a lore connection?
Fan.
No.